Chapter 795. Elaine finished editing the copy of the Moments, and deliberately added a few shy expressions to the back, and then opened the location of Beacon Top, and clicked send happily. When this was posted, many people immediately liked and commented. The message was all kinds of admiration, catering, kneeling and licking, marveling at how luxurious her mansion is. After all, no one thought that Elaine could live in a top-notch villa of more than 200 million, which is beyond the understanding for everyone who knew her. At this time, the Richard family was boiling cabbage around a pot of duck racks, eating bitter tears. The Lady Richard herself did not lose the money, and was quite dissatisfied with Michael and his children's contradictions yesterday, so she also deliberately wanted to toss them. So, she went out to buy vegetables in the morning, only bought a duck rack, and then bought 2 cabbage, washed and chopped directly, and simmered in a pot. She felt that, anyway, she was old, had a small appetite, and couldn't eat anything that was too meaty and greasy, so she put this kind of clear soup in watery things. As for the 3 of them, they would like to eat or not, and would not eat it. Michael, Harold, and Olivia were almost exhausted. The 3 of them couldn't make up the money for a meal, so they could only eat this stuff with the Lady Richard at home. The duck frame looked not small, but it was all bones, and there was no meat at all. The bone skull in front of Harold says he had already eaten a lot, but it just didn't fill his stomach. Annoyed, he ate while scanning the circle of friends. Suddenly he saw the one sent by Elaine, and after a closer look, he gritted his teeth and threw the chopsticks off his head. He cursed, "Grass. Elaine, a shrew, has actually moved into Beacon Top's first product. Damn, she too. Is it worthy of Beacon Top's first product? God is blind." When the Lady Richard heard this, she picked up her mobile phone and took a look, and she was suddenly angry. "This damn dog thing specifically said that there are 10 bedrooms, can't live in all of them. This is deliberately to tell me." Old Mrs. Richard was extremely uncomfortable, and she cursed in her heart that she couldn't give her a room out of so many rooms and let her live in it. Now she is still sending out intentionally to irritate her. It is really 1,000 cuts that she will not understand her hatred. At this time, Michael also looked at the mobile phone circle of friends, looked at the photos of the mansion sent by Elaine, and then looked at the duck rack in front of him and boiled cabbage. He was so angry that he couldn't eat anymore, and directly pulled Elaine into the blacklist. Out of sight, out of mind. Olivia also has Elaine's Instagram friends, and she opened a glance and was also very angry. Seeing the emotions of these 3 people, the Lady Richard was a little depressed, and said hurriedly, "Don't care about the things Elaine sent. She will have to be driven out of the villa within a few days." After speaking, she cleared her throat and said, "Our top priority is to think about how to make the Richard Group overcome the difficulties and regain its vitality." Michael said angrily, "What difficulties have you overcome? Tens of millions of debts must be solved? What can be done? This villa is so old, I think it can sell at most 17 million, and the remaining holes will be repaid. It's big." After he finished speaking, he looked at Mrs. Richard with some complaints, and said, "The antiques that Dad left behind can be sold for tens of millions, right? If you want me to say, Mom, you might as well give me all those antiques. I sell them for real. And then go to buy a house. After the bank takes the villa away, you can still have a place to live." Old Mrs. Richard said with a cold face, "Buy a house? Do you think I can live there if you buy a house? I can't pay my debts. I might go to jail. I'm already this old. If I go to jail, I will pay and come out alive."